6:42 in the morning, a woman opened her front door and saw something she would never forget. Her neighbor was lying dead inside his house. The front door was unlocked. His wallet was still in his pocket. Nothing looked stolen, but on the kitchen table, police found a note with one name written on it. That name belonged to an innocent man, and the killer had planned for police to find it. It was a quiet Monday morning in the small town of Fairview, Ohio. Most people on Willow Street were already getting ready for work. But at number 214, something was very wrong. The house belonged to Daniel Harper, a 46-year-old insurance manager. Daniel lived alone. He was not famous. He was not involved in crime. His neighbors described him as quiet, polite, and very careful. Every morning, Daniel left his house at almost the same time. He bought coffee from the same store, then he drove to work. But on this particular Monday, Daniel never showed up. At 8:15 a.m., his boss called him. No answer. He called again. Still nothing. First, nobody was worried. Daniel had taken days off before, but then his boss called Daniel's sister, Laura. Laura knew something was wrong. Daniel almost never missed work without telling someone. She called his phone. It rang. Nobody answered. She called again. Nothing. Laura drove to his house. When she arrived, Daniel's car was sitting in the driveway. She walked to the front door. It was unlocked. Daniel. No answer. She stepped inside. The house was completely quiet. Then she saw him. Daniel was lying on the kitchen floor. He was dead. Laura screamed and ran outside. A neighbor called 911. Within minutes, police officers surrounded the house. And that was when the case began. Detective Marcus Reed arrived at the house just after 7 a.m. He had worked major crimes for more than 15 years. He knew one thing immediately. The scene looked strange. There were no broken windows. The doors were not damaged. Nothing appeared to have been stolen. Daniel's television was still there. His laptop was still there. His wallet was in his pants. Even his expensive watch was still on his wrist. This did not look like a robbery. The medical examiner later found that Daniel had been killed by a single gunshot. The gun was nowhere in the house. Detectives searched every room, bedroom, bathroom, garage, basement, nothing. Then an officer called Marcus into the kitchen. "Detective, you need to see this." On the kitchen table was a white envelope. Inside was a handwritten note, contained only one sentence. "Ask Michael Bennett why he wanted Daniel dead." Marcus stared at the words. Michael Bennett. He knew the name. Michael was Daniel's former business partner. The two men had worked together several years earlier. Then they had a serious disagreement. Michael had left the company. According to Daniel's family, the two men had not spoken in months. Suddenly, Michael became the police's biggest lead. But there was a problem. The note was too perfect. It almost looked like someone wanted the police to find it. Michael Bennett was 44 years old. He lived about 20 minutes from Daniel's house. When detectives arrived at his home, Michael was shocked. He had no idea Daniel was dead. Police asked him where he had been the previous night. Michael said he had been home with his wife. His wife confirmed it. He showed detectives messages on his phone. He had been texting his brother late that night. At first, the evidence against Michael looked weak. But then detectives found something. Daniel had recently filed a complaint against Michael. The complaint involved money from their old business. Michael admitted they had argued about money. "But I didn't kill him," he said. Detectives asked him about the note. Michael looked confused. "I don't know anything about that." Police searched his home. They found no gun, no blood, no clothing belonging to Daniel. Nothing connected Michael to the murder. Still, suspicion followed him. News of Daniel's death spread through Fairview, and soon Michael's name was everywhere. People started talking. Some believed he was guilty. Others thought he was being set up. But Marcus Reed was not convinced. There was something about the crime that bothered him. The killer had left almost nothing behind, except for one thing, a name. 3 days after the murder, police found an important piece of evidence. A gas station stood about half a mile from Daniel's house. The station had a security camera facing the road. Detectives requested the video from the night Daniel was killed. They watched it several times. At 10:18 p.m., Daniel's car passed the station. At 10:31 p.m., another vehicle passed. It was a dark blue SUV. Marcus paused the video. Zoom in. The image was not clear enough to see the driver, but the SUV had something unusual. One of its rear lights was broken. Marcus asked officers to check local records for blue SUVs with damaged rear lights. They found several. One belonged to Michael. Marcus ordered another search, but Michael's SUV had a completely different damage pattern. His rear light was not broken. It was scratched. The vehicle in the video had a large crack across the red cover. Michael was still a suspect, but the camera had created doubt. Someone else could have been near Daniel's house that night. Then police found another clue. Daniel's computer had been used at 10:47 p.m. That was less than 30 minutes before the estimated time of death. Someone had opened a folder containing financial records. The folder was protected by a password. Daniel's computer showed that the password had been entered correctly. Marcus asked the computer expert to recover the activity. The result was surprising. The person had opened records connected to Daniel's old business, and one name appeared again and again: Michael Bennett. Now the case seemed to point directly at Michael. The media reported that police were looking closely at him. Michael's life began falling apart. His employer suspended him. Friends stopped calling. People in town whispered when he walked past. His wife begged him to tell her the truth. "I have told you the truth," Michael said. "I didn't kill Daniel." But investigators still had questions. Why had someone opened those files? Why had Daniel written Michael's name? And why had a blue SUV been near the house? Detective Marcus Reed returned to Daniel's house. He stood in the kitchen. He looked at the table. He looked at the envelope. Then he noticed something small. The note was handwritten, but Daniel's family had said Daniel normally wrote with his right hand. The handwriting on the note looked different. Marcus sent it to a handwriting expert. The result came back 2 days later. The writing was not Daniel's. That was expected, but there was something else. The writer appeared to have carefully copied the style of another person's handwriting. Marcus asked for Michael's handwriting samples. They compared them. The writing on the note did not match Michael. Someone had tried to make the note look like it came from Michael. The case changed immediately. The killer had not simply left Michael's name. The killer had deliberately planted evidence against him. Michael was not the killer. He was the target. Investigators began looking at Daniel's life again. They checked his phone, his emails, his bank accounts, his work records. Then they found something Daniel had never told his family. For several months, Daniel had been investigating missing money from his company. Large amounts of money had been moved between accounts. Daniel believed someone inside the company was stealing. He had saved copies of financial records. He had also made notes about several employees. One name appeared more than any other: Kevin Morris. Kevin was the company's financial officer. He was 39 years old. He had worked with Daniel for almost 8 years. Daniel had recently scheduled a private meeting with Kevin. The meeting was supposed to happen the morning after Daniel was killed. That meeting never happened. Marcus asked Kevin about the missing money. Kevin said Daniel was wrong. He claimed the money had been moved for normal business reasons. But investigators found something troubling. Several transfers had gone into an account controlled by a company Kevin secretly owned. Kevin had never reported the company to Daniel. The amount was more than $400,000. Now detectives had a new suspect. Police reconstructed the timeline. At 8:43 p.m., Daniel sent an email to himself. The email contained copies of financial records. At 9:12 p.m., Daniel received a phone call. The call lasted for minutes. The number was registered to a prepaid phone. At 9:46 p.m., Daniel's neighbor saw a dark blue SUV near his house. At 10:18 p.m., Daniel's car appeared on the gas station camera. Investigators believe Daniel had returned home around 10:25. At 10:31 p.m., the dark blue SUV passed the gas station. At 10:47 p.m., someone used Daniel's computer. At around 11 p.m., Daniel was killed. The killer then placed the note on the kitchen table. But why frame Michael? The answer came from Daniel's old business records. Kevin knew about the fight between Daniel and Michael. He knew police would see Michael as an easy suspect. He also knew Michael had once threatened to make Daniel pay during their business argument. Kevin had found the perfect person to blame. Police tracked the prepaid phone that had called Daniel. The phone had been turned on only a few times. Each time, it connected to towers near Kevin's neighborhood. Then investigators checked store records. The phone had been purchased with cash, but the store had a security camera. The video showed a man buying the phone. His face was partly hidden. Detectives enhanced the footage. It was Kevin. Kevin still denied everything. "I don't know that phone." Marcus showed him the video. Kevin became silent, but detectives still needed stronger evidence. They could not arrest someone for simply buying a prepaid phone. Then they found the SUV. Police discovered that Kevin owned a dark blue SUV. One rear light had been replaced 2 days after Daniel's murder. Kevin said it had broken that morning, but the repair shop had records. Kevin had brought the vehicle in at 8:30 a.m. The mechanic remembered seeing a large crack across the rear light. The same kind of damage appeared on the gas station video. Marcus now believed the SUV was the vehicle seen near Daniel's house. But there was one more problem. The police needed proof that Kevin had been inside Daniel's home. A search warrant was approved. Investigators searched Kevin's house. They found a pair of shoes with a tiny dark stain. Laboratory testing showed the stain contained Daniel's blood. Kevin claimed the shoes were old, but the blood was not the only thing they found. Inside Kevin's garage was a small box. Inside the box was a handwritten draft. It contained the same sentence found on Daniel's kitchen table. "Ask Michael Bennett why he wanted Daniel dead." The draft had been written several times. Kevin had practiced the handwriting. He had been preparing the frame. Kevin Morris was arrested. First, he said nothing. Then investigators showed him the evidence. The phone, the SUV, the financial records, the blood, the handwriting, the draft note. Finally, Kevin asked for a lawyer, but the evidence was already strong. Prosecutors said Kevin had stolen hundreds of thousands of dollars from the company. Daniel discovered the theft. Kevin believed Daniel was going to expose him, so Kevin made a plan. He would kill Daniel. Then he would make police believe Michael did it. The plan almost worked. Michael's reputation had already been destroyed. He had lost his job. He had been questioned several times. His wife had even considered leaving him. But the truth came out before Michael was charged. The trial began almost a year later. Prosecutors showed the jury how Kevin had planned everything. They showed the financial records. They played the security footage. They showed the phone records. Then they presented the handwriting evidence. Finally, they showed the draft note found in Kevin's garage. Michael sat in the courtroom. He watched the man who had tried to destroy his life. Kevin never admitted that he killed Daniel. His lawyers argued that the evidence was not enough. But the jury disagreed. After several hours of discussion, they returned with their decision. Guilty. Kevin was sentenced to life in prison. Michael eventually got his job back, but his life never returned to normal. People apologized to him. Some admitted they had believed he was guilty. Michael said he understood. "If I were watching from the outside, I might have believed it too." Daniel's sister, Laura, also spoke to Michael. She apologized for once believing he could have hurt her brother. Michael told her something she never forgot. "The person who killed Daniel wanted us fighting each other." Laura looked at him. "Why?" Michael answered, "Because while we were looking at each other, we weren't looking at him." Months after Kevin's conviction, investigators reviewed the case one more time. They discovered something strange. Kevin had not originally planned to frame Michael. The first draft of his plan mentioned another name. That person was a former employee who had left the company years earlier. Investigators learned that Kevin had changed his plan after discovering Daniel's old dispute with Michael. That meant Kevin had not simply reacted to the situation. He had studied Daniel's relationships. He had found the person most likely to be blamed, and then he built the crime around him. The most disturbing part was not that Kevin killed Daniel. It was how much time he spent making sure someone else would take the blame. Michael had come dangerously close to becoming a murder suspect, and Daniel's killer had almost walked away free. Because sometimes the most dangerous clue at a crime scene is not the one that points to the killer. It is the one that points to the wrong person.